being used in so many of the recipes here on City Line. But you know what? You got to store it properly and maybe even have some fun with it. Please welcome Shona Jensen, one of our lifestyle experts here on City Line. And it's spices, right?
Yeah, why not?
So all sorts of really fun containers. Of course, you brought your label maker because you probably don't leave home without it, do you? It's with you everywhere
Delilah
you go.
is my friend. No, I'm only kidding. Her name's not Delilah. It's Jane. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, so there's lots of different ways. I find a lot of people ask me all the time because I've got a bit of a reputation of being the organized person.
Really?
Really? I don't know how that happened. You know, how they struggle with their spices. So here are some ideas because they load up, they're in bags, they're messy, they're all over the place. So here are just some good ideas that I know of, or some DIYs on how to get your kitchen, your spices in order. So these ones are great for people. A lot of us nowadays have very small kitchens.
Yeah.
It's kind of going one way or the other. You're either building a monster house and have a dream kitchen, or you have a tiny little small space kitchen. So just like everything else in organizing, go vertical. So these are spice jars that obviously just stack on top of each other. And these ones here are really good because not everybody uses a lot of spice. If you're a single person, if you don't cook a lot, if you do a lot of basic cooking, you don't need a great big jar because you're just not using spices that much.
That's right.
So instead of buying the whole jar, whole containers of spices or bags of spices, great tip is go to somewhere they sell them in bulk, like obviously Bulk Barn. That's where I got a lot of the spices here because you can buy exactly what you need when it comes to spices.
And then it's not going stale because, you know, everybody used to buy the whole big spice racks and half of that stuff you don't use, and then it's sitting there forever.
Yeah, taking up
just by a little
real
bit
estate
at a
in your
time.
kitchen that is necessary. And spices they do get old. They do turn. It's not that they go rotten. They just lose their potency. The oils in them dry out. So you only want to buy kind of what you need.
Yeah.
So this is good for those people that do just very little cooking or want to, or maybe use specialty spices but not very often.
Yeah.
You know, so that's good. Same thing. This is stacking, just a little bit bigger stacking. Again, we're going vertical with this one. These are both from Kitchen Stuff Plus. Love that store. It's great. Sometimes jars. This is a little one I got from actually the dollar store. And it's just like a mason jar, those clamped mason jars. But I loved how it had a spin on how cute it is.
Yeah.
With the colored rubber. Not everything needs a label. Oh, what? I just said that? Yeah. No, this is obviously pink sugar. So we don't need to label this pink sugar.
Right.
And then, you know, we've got these cute little mini jars of the cookie jars just with label maker on it. These ones from IKEA.
Those are
Same
cute.
with this one. The little trick is a label maker, but use the clear tape. So it looks like you just see the words. It just gives it a nice little touch to finish them. These ones, metal tins, are really popular, and these are good if you aren't going to put them inside a drawer or not inside of a shelf because the light will not get at the spices.
Right.
Because the darker, the better. Okay. And those are from, actually I got these containers and these ones from Bulk Barn. And same thing, that's obvious what these are. These are really cute labels, and I actually want to show you these labels. It's a line of labels by Martha Stewart, so you know they're great.
Yeah.
And I got them at Staples. And I love them because a lot of them are dishwasher friendly. They can go through the printers. These ones are chalkboard, so they can really suit your needs. Yeah. We've got a little bit bigger ones here, you know, if you are doing things like the dried chilies. This one, you might want a big jar because it matches.
Yeah.
I put a jar inside to take up the space because you may not want to fill it all up with all your spice. So, but you want the look of the big jar.
That's smart.
Yeah. Mason jars will
That's a
never
good
fail
idea.
you. The guys are using them to serve food. Use them for your spices as well.
Absolutely.
This one here is actually a baby jar, food jar, that I took all the labeling off, and you actually would put it in your drawer labeled down.
Yeah, a little
And so you could
DIY
have the
here.
number, yeah.
So you know what? It doesn't have to be an expensive project right there, and you've got the label up there on the top, and you would never even know that was a baby food jar.
Totally.
That's cute.
And then this actually is also a DIY. This is actually a baby food jar as well.
Okay.
And it's an interpretation, we'll call it, of a very expensive, very trendy spice jar that's on the market right now that everyone's going crazy for. That costs about $25. This probably cost me $1.30.
Ooh.
And it was so easy.
Good stuff.
It's pretty obvious, I think, what I did. Went to Home Depot, got my spray paints, took the jar. Now, I spray painted the jar, not the inside. You're putting food in it, okay? And the way I did it, yes, this is an empty wine bottle. I actually put the bottle over top and I sprayed it like this so all the drips would not go to the bottom because you want your bottom to be pretty too.
Because that's why it looks so even.
That's why it's so even, exactly.
Okay,
and
it looks great.
Use a matte, I don't know if this will show up, but use a matte spray paint. I used a metallic and the lids are flat, so the pearl eyes of the metallic It looks pretty good on camera, but it's not the preference. Use a matte one without any kind of metallic or sheen.
Okay.
And the last thing is make sure that your spray paint you use is good on glass. Not all spray paint adheres to glass. So when you're doing that,
Okay.
just make sure you get that. And the lid is metal, so most spray paints are good for metal, and you're good to go.
Now there is something that you did wrong that you sort of
Yes.
corrected.
So
can you
I
show
didn't
us?
take the expiry date off the jar. And you cannot spray, it's made of an ink that the spray paint, I mean, I'm telling you, primer and spray paint, and it would not cover it up.
Really?
So I used Goo Gone, you know that, it's sticker removal
Yep.
stuff, it's been around forever. I used it and it took the date off. I cut that corner, so make sure you don't do that because then you're stuck. You can't take it off after the paint's already gone over it.
Gotcha.
So learn from mistakes too at the same time.
Yes, you do, and then you teach us.
There
which
you
is
go.
Great. Let's go to break. More coming up. Stay with us.